Alright, you guys have all gotten your piece of bread. Now imagine that that bread is going to be the best thing that you eat today because it's fresh. It's not covered in dirt, it's not, crappy.
You didn't have to dig through the trash?
Yeah, you didn't have to dig through the trash to get it. And maybe that'll be the only thing you have a chance to eat all week because there's no one around in your community who's there to help you. Just picture that. That's what homeless people have to go through, and people in poverty have to go through all over the country every single day.
So throughout our whole
And it's not funny.
So throughout our whole senior year, we've all had to pick big questions, and we've all done it. So this time around, we picked a big question: how are people who are in poverty treated by society? We wanted to dig deeper into social classes and figure out why exactly is it that just because people are homeless or don't have some place to sleep at night, why are they treated so poorly? And why is it okay for classes that are more rich and wealthy to step on them? Are they really useless? We don't believe so. And that's what we decided to dig deeper into today.
Now, our first anchor text was The Pursuit of Happiness. Awesome movie if you saw it. I read the book. And it's a story, as if you don't know, it's a story of a man who lived in poverty his whole life. He went into the army to be able to get a job and get money, and then once he had to leave the army, or military actually, he went straight back into poverty. He had a kid, and he muscled his way to the top. Now, the thing is that most homeless people don't have a chance to be able to even step their foot in the door to be able to get to the top. They just stay there because they don't have a chance. Some people think that homeless people just are lazy and stupid and don't care and don't try to get a job or anything. You can't get a job unless you have an address. Well, if you're homeless, you don't have an address. Bit of a problem.
Alright, this is my guy. Our linking text was about a homeless man in San Francisco. He was very wealthy, but he ended up going straight into poverty because he invested poorly. And going into poverty made him kind of delusional. He ended up going around claiming that he was the emperor of San Francisco. And he would make decrees that, oh, we need to build a bridge to wherever. And he would pay with his own certified money. And, people who came into town thought he was insane. And, he kind of was. But, they treated him like crap because he was homeless and he was weird. But the people in San Francisco actually all came together and they just supported this guy through it all. Everywhere that he went and he paid with those certificates of approval from the emperor, where he'd go to pay for food, they would take it and they would feed him and they would take care of him. And, when he died, they went to where he lived, and even though he had the certificates and whatever, he still had nothing where he stayed. The place was barren except for his soldier outfit, basically. And I just thought that was a really cool example of how a community can come together and make someone's life livable. And not treat them like crap and not step on them. Like, actually join together and make a difference for this person. So.
Right, we all know who this guy is. Been on the news. This guy with the golden voice, Ted Williams. When I read more about him, he has a wife, and I believe it said how many children did I say he had? Seven children, and that was whoa, where's his family at? Well, I don't know about that, but basically his life, he got addicted to drugs, and that was his downfall. He went on the streets because he ran out of money, he was addicted, and a lot of times that's what happens, and people make assumptions that drugs is the only reason people are homeless, and that's not, an appropriate assumption because it's not always true. But he is a perfect example of someone who tried to do something to make his life better. Even just standing on the sign says, I've got a God-given talent. I used to do this. Listen to me just for a second and see what you can do. And right now, he's living a better life. And I just thought he was a good example because people think it's just apathy and laziness that makes the homeless, homeless basically. But he was a perfect example of someone to look up to and someone that any homeless person can look at and know that they can do something better for their lives.
Alright, I found this picture online, and I thought it was a pretty well representation of what goes on daily on the street. Like, there's some guy there with basically nothing, and all these people, they have them blurred out in the picture. Like, they're just passing by him, not caring that he's on the street without anything. The only companion he has is this cute little dog by him. And it's just sad that people don't even care, because I think it's because they assume that a lot of homeless people got there, like you said, because they're lazy or because they just don't care. And who doesn't want a home or food or like shelter or anything like that? So.
We went to the soup kitchen to get involved in the community, and I don't know, it was a really eye-opening experience. I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Well, like the amount of people that were there, in the mornings there wouldn't be a whole lot of people, but there would be people not necessarily there for food, just to be in a warm place. Like, and the volunteers, now the weekends they usually tend to have more volunteers than during the weekdays, just because everybody's just like, it's the weekend, I should do something, I'll go volunteer. Ha! Or at least some people do. And so, but they usually have a pretty good turnout, and they feed so many people. There are actually a lot of homeless people that are right in, what's it, Mill Pond?
Yeah, right by.
Yeah, right in the Mill Pond Park. Like, they live in the woods because they have nowhere else to go, and they come over and they sit there for warmth and they play card games. And they're really nice people. Some of them are a little crazy.
Yeah,
but I mean, they're nice people to talk to.
Alright, so Becca and I, this is like part of the original part of the project, this is what I really wanted to do. We decided that one of us, well, originally all of us, but it went down to one of us, was going to dress up as a homeless person and go out on the streets for a little bit and see how people react to it. And we were very careful about it because we didn't want to offend anyone, and it was not
break
our...
any laws.
Or break any
spent a long time
laws.
looking at laws.
But that wasn't our intention at all for anything. We just really wanted to get a genuine reaction of how people react to someone who looks like they are less fortunate.
So the first part you're going to see is Myra. We made a sign because it's really hard, you can't just like dress up as a homeless person and automatically assume that they're homeless. So she was holding a sign that showed that she was in need. So that's the first thing you're going to see is the clips that I chose to put in there are actually the clips of people approaching her and helping her. And we were kind of amazed at how many people actually helped.
Yeah.
It was surprising. And
I didn't expect
yeah.
anyone.
I mean,
really.
and there were people that just passed by and probably were a little awkward. You had mentioned that people looked at you kind of weird. And
Probably, we were out there for like 2 hours, and probably every third car looked at me, but only like 4 people stopped and actually talked to me over the course of 2 hours.
So we can watch the first half of what we noticed of people holding her up.
It's just because she made it bigger.
5. Becca, 5.
Sound.
Today is February 16, 2011, and we are going to be experimenting downtown. Myra here is dressed up as someone who could be homeless, and as you can see, the sign So people realize.
That's not all I said.
Whether they become more sympathetic or just don't care about the homeless, so it should be interesting. Go for it.
Okay, so people are probably wondering what we're going to do if anyone gives us any donations, like if someone were to give me money or food because I'm hungry and I don't have any money.
Money roll.
We are planning on keeping it and then donating it to either the soup kitchen or Salvation Army. So everything that we get, we're not just like keeping. It's going to go to a good cause that has to do with our project. So.
Alright, this guy came up to me and gave me like $4, which was really cool. And then there was another lady that stopped around the corner and gave me half of her Subway sandwich, which I couldn't donate, but I put in like $3 and made up for it.
So you're going to see her go around and kind of zoom in. It was just interesting because it's an alternative instead of giving money if you're nervous about what it's going to be used for. Another a useful way to do is to give them actual food or clothing, so that's really cool to see.
She's like, oh, I just got it. She had a little kid in the back too. I was kind of surprised. Because I expected more like college students to give. But there was actually quite a bit of older people with kids. Okay, this woman was with her daughter and she was telling me about Listening Ear down the street where you can go and they can like help you out if you need anything. And then we moved to the corner where the Myra gas station is. And it was really busy. There was really heavy traffic at that time of day, but no one stopped.
It was just interesting to see that location has a lot to do with it. Because me and Myra as well, we actually did see someone who was homeless standing there with an actual legit sign. And it was just kind of weird how if you're in a certain location, people don't stop if it's inconvenient for them. So if they're in a car, they're less likely to approach you and help you as if they're walking.
It's kind of awkward because there's a stoplight right there and they just stared at me.
Yeah.
It was red.
So my job after videotaping her was to kind of interview some people. I got permission from these people that you're going to see on the streets. But I want to know hear what they have to say, close to your opinions as well.
They went down their life, they were successful, they're going to be successful, and maybe got addicted to some sort of demon, and therefore lost all their money, and as a result, they ended up homeless.
Thank you.
Well, kind of went up now, but you know, we're helping at homeless shelters that spend money on worthless junk. That's
It's so sad. But then sometimes it makes you wonder though, like if people, you know, when I see some people out in this like the signs, if they really are, if they're just doing it for drug money or not, you know, that also that can not be Thank you.
So that's a genuine worry. Like she said, that she doesn't know if it's like legitimate or if they just want drug money. So that is sometimes a worry, and we just have to find the medium.
And like, I like what Taylor said where he would rather donate his money to a homeless shelter than just like give someone money and not know what they're doing with it, which is, I completely understand. And,
Yeah, so this is a bit of a poem. Actually, Myra, did you?
yeah, I found it. It's I found it on a site where I don't know how they do it, but it was actually a site that was just full of poems written by homeless people about homeless people.
And this is just the very tag line. It says, "This feels like forever and an endless dream, but all dreams end. A chance again. One day I promise there'll be a way. I'll rise off the ground for people to see."